Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Recently, we talked about SCHD, which is a great ETF to get invested into. But I wouldn't be doing this channel justice if I didn't give you some other options. And that might be because one, you want to diversify, or number two, you just simply want to make your own individual fund. So let's get into some of the best dividend stocks so you can get consistent cash flow. With a fund like this, we want to look for stocks that are strong and reliable. And that means that they most likely have a great statement of cash flow. And that's because if they don't have free cash flow, that means they probably don't have enough money to be handing out a dividend. But one thing to note on this is that I'm going to be using $1,000 as the total amount of this portfolio. And I know for some people that's not a lot of money, and for others that's a ton. But it makes it easy to see percentages and to get a good understanding of where I'm coming from, and you can scale it to whatever amount of money you have. Additionally, this fund that we're making needs to be comprised of different stocks, and that's so we can diversify and mitigate some of the risk. Otherwise, we're going to be focused in one sector, and honestly, if that goes down, it could ruin everything for us. What we're looking for is a portfolio that gives us consistent cash flow year after year. The first stock I'm going to be talking to you about is in the healthcare sector. Healthcare isn't going away anytime soon. That's because people are living longer and longer, and they're also taking better care of themselves, which makes them live longer. This is a brand that most people know, but it's not really a cool stock that everyone's going to go out and tell everyone about. They own brands like Band-Aid, Tylenol, Motrin, and Aveeno. We want stocks that are going to continue to have great cash flow, and this is the perfect example of one. Johnson & Johnson. They are a top 10 stock by market cap. It also is one of only 2 stocks that has a AAA credit rating, which means it's just as safe as the US government's debt. That's absolutely incredible. With a dividend yield of 2.9% and the stock being up about 21% over the last 5 years, we are getting consistent growth, which is a plus for this one. With this stock, we're also achieving a consistent dividend increase, as J&J has now increased their dividend every year for over 60 years. This is truly one of the greatest dividend stocks ever, so it has to be first on my list. It checks all the boxes, consistent returns, and a great AAA rating. It would be a mistake not to have this on your list. Next up, we have another company that is very diverse. They have a lot of different brands that I'm sure you're very aware of, and they really try to stay with the times and acquire new businesses very often. This place has great customers, and that's something we want to focus on here. We want businesses that have really great customers that are consistent buyers of their products. And this company is PepsiCo. PepsiCo has a portfolio of brands like Frito-Lay's, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Tostitos, Quaker Oats, Doritos, and so many more. They are currently giving out a dividend yield of 2.61%, and they're up 61% over the last 5 years. This is a brand I want to be a part of and am excited about. Their diversification alone makes me excited. When we look at other brands in this same industry, they aren't really as diverse, so it just makes them not seem as great of an option. This next company is an even better consumer brand, as their customers are even more enthusiastic than PepsiCo's. They're willing to sit in line for hours. They also carry around this logo a lot of the places they go. And finally, they like to go there and chit chat and socialize. This brand is Starbucks. Starbucks is wildly popular in a lot of different locations. And it's not just a brand, it's really a lifestyle. Customers of Starbucks want their friends and family to know that they shop there and that they get their drinks at Starbucks. They wouldn't get it anywhere else. Starbucks is currently planning to add another 2,000 stores in the US by 2025, and they're also opening a new store every 9 hours in China. This is a staple that's simply just not going away. All of these facts is what makes me excited about their 2.7% dividend yield, which I believe they're going to be giving out for a long time to come. They've also increased in value by 80% over the last 5 years. So if that's not something to get excited about, I don't know what is. This next stock is a staple in making sure that your home and appliances are up to date. They've also taken a recent focus on making sure that customer satisfaction is at an all-time high. When you were home during 2020, this is a place you probably went to often, as you were taking on some new projects and need to get a few things. This next stock is Lowe's. Lowe's is not fancy, and it's really not that cool, but it's a great stock to have in this dividend portfolio. And they provide a lot of different products. One of the coolest ones they provide is that 2.06% dividend yield. And another thing to note is they've gone up 140% in the last 5 years. And while I don't really expect that to happen again, it would be great if it did. This next company is one you've probably never thought about, but you use it almost every single day. And it's a basic necessity we have to have, so that's why we don't think twice about it. And that's again why this company is so great. And that company is Waste Management. The garbage industry is a dirty business, but boy, does it pay well. With a dividend yield of 1.87% and an increase in value of 75% over the last 5 years, I'm excited about this stock. Honestly, we keep finding great stocks to put in this dividend portfolio. We're only halfway through and we found some great options. We've worked hard to make sure we diversify this portfolio the best we can, but we're not done yet. This next company can really help you meet your retirement goals, and that company is Prudential. Prudential offers wealth and asset management services along with retirement and life insurance options. This is a company that is not going to run out of customers anytime soon. Most people have some type of life insurance for their loved ones when they pass away. Another thing is that most people need help with their wealth and asset management, and that ties into retirement. They need someone to help them keep moving on the right track, and Prudential is that person for a lot of people. All of these services allow Prudential to give out a 5% dividend yield, and that's the highest we've seen on this list so far. Unfortunately, the stock growth hasn't really been there, as it's been down 5% over the last 5 years. But this is a consistent stock, giving out that high dividend yield. So while it doesn't grow a lot, you're getting that consistent return on cash flow that you're gonna want in your portfolio. So I think this is another great option. Talking about consistency, this stock is all about that. They've been giving out consistent dividend yields for years now. And while the market seems to be going into a time of volatility, this could be an anchor in our new portfolio. This stock is AT&T. AT&T is a staple in telecommunications. A lot of people use their services and they're not going away anytime soon. One great thing about them is their dividend yield is 5.95%, which is by far the highest we've seen. Unfortunately, they haven't been doing great over the last 5 years, as they're down 32%. But honestly, I see this as a good buying opportunity. Their stock's a little bit lower and some of our other ones were a little bit higher. So I think this is a great opportunity to get into this stock, get it low and ride it as it slowly grows and you get that consistent dividend yield. Our next company is one that you've probably never heard of unless you're in the tech industry or interested in it. Their products are in the background of things we use every single day. They produce semiconductors, they work data centers, they also do networking and have storage. Our technology stock is Broadcom, and while you might not have heard of them, they've been a big name player for a while now in the tech field, and that's how they've been able to provide such a great return for their stockholders. Their dividend yield is 3.12%, which is fantastic. They've been able to provide a 137% return over the last 5 years. I really don't think their business is going to be slowing down anytime soon, as semiconductors are used in almost every single thing we use every single day. So I don't see their business changing much, and I actually think it's going to increase. And that's why I think they're a staple here to stay for a long period of time. This next stock could be in for a hot future. Commercial real estate has taken a hit within the last couple of years, but renters have provided a consistent stream of income for the property owners, and that's great for this one stock. One stock that can help you take advantage of this is a REIT called Realty Income Corp, which has a ticker of O. REITs like this are a great opportunity if you want to get consistent cash flow like most property owners get, and they've actually been doing really well. They've been giving out a 4.7% dividend yield, and even better than that, they've gone up 32% over the last 5 years, which is just really great considering how the commercial real estate market has been recently. We have made it to our last stock, and while I don't necessarily think this is the very best stock that's on this list, I think it has potential to be. It's been on a tear the last 2 years, and we have a lot to look forward here, and I don't think it's ending anytime soon. The stock I'm talking about is ExxonMobil, and it has been doing great over the last couple of years, with a dividend yield of 3.27% and an increase of 47% over the last 5 years. There's not a better option out there right now. These oil companies are a cash cow. Oil prices are still high compared to what they have been, and I think they're going to continue to go up. With OPEC and OPEC Plus working hard to make sure the supply is low, these companies can continue to rake in cash without changing anything that they're doing. Again, I don't think they're necessarily going to go up a ton in the next 5 years again, but for us to get that consistent dividend yield, I think this is for sure a keeper. With our last stock in place, here's what our portfolio now looks like. Each stock getting 10% of our $1,000 investment. This portfolio gives us an average dividend yield of 3.36%, which is really incredible for a fund that is this diverse. This allows us to make $33.62 continuously, and that's only on a $1,000 investment. Imagine what can happen if you continue to invest $1,000 each year. That's just a little under $100 per month. This is just the dividend that we're going to be receiving. The stock value should also be increasing, so we'll also get a return from that. There's a lot of good things here, so don't think this is a small amount. This is actually great considering the growth that we're getting with some of these stocks. One thing that I want to note is that these are just examples of stocks that I would pick if I was making my own dividend portfolio. Obviously, do your own research and put in stocks that you're excited about and that you think are going to do really well in the future. This is just a small piece of the pie. There are a lot of different options out there and you can mix and match it any way you want. Be sure to leave a comment below and tell me what you think of the ones I picked. If you want to learn about what Warren Buffett said in his stockholders lair, check out this video right here. Otherwise, I'll catch you in the next one.